All right, Bannock County Commissioners are now in session. First item on our agenda is invoices, Commissioners' report, and credit applications. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the Commissioner's report and invoices as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Backside. Next we have Bannock County check request form. This was for payback on an alcohol license that was overpaid. And we have that same alcohol license at the same time.
Mr. Chair, I move that we authorize the check request form.
And the alcohol license.
Oh, and the alcohol license, excuse me.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we have salary rate approval forms.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the salary rate approval forms as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, Charity, looks like you get to be first. Dave stepped out.
I'll be quick.
No problem.
Charity Staggs, Southeast Idaho Council of Governments, here to present the additional documentation requested by Idaho Department of Lands for the Lava Ranches Phase 2 grant application that was awarded. There includes the indirect cost certification and additional information that they request for the development of the MOU. It just needs your review and approval, and then the indirect cost certification needs a signature.
Okay. On this, on page 1, it says applicant's authorized representative, and it has Wes Jones there instead of the commission.
Yes.
What does this represent?
It's just whoever you want to be the point of contact. You just hire at Idaho Department of Lands just needs a point of contact. That can be anyone you want. That is what that's requesting. The signatures can go all through, like final approval and signatures can go through commission.
Okay.
And we've already talked about that a little bit with the grant team and with Wes.
Okay.
And it's been
We
like
can
this-
change that.
It's been like this on the previous ones, hasn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember when we talked about it, and so I was curious as well, so.
The verbiage there just sounds like he has a lot of authority.
Yeah, and we can just make sure everyone knows that moving forward. It sounds like Board of Commissioners wants to have final approval and signature for everything, and that's fine. Idaho Department of Lands just needs someone from the county to do all the correspondence with.
Correspondence is good with Wes.
Yeah.
Anything financial needs to come through the commission.
Of course.
So, questions?
Nope. You comfortable with that? Okay. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the Lava Ranches contract as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank
Very
you.
much.
Dave, you're up.
Dave Martinez, 6th District Public Defender.
There you go.
Who is that now?
Yeah,
Dave?
go figure. I just wanted to check in with you, let you know that, well, the kind of the best thing to let you know is the 6th District is probably working smoother than any other district right now. We've had less withdrawals from private counsel than most other places. Some whole counties have lost all of their contract attorneys, and those were the who was doing all of their work. So there's a lot of turmoil. Over 1,500 cases were from around the state contract counsel just withdrew from.
Wow.
So there's been a backlog in some of those cases. The alternative counsel division has struggled to find enough people. Bannock County is an untapped asset, and so not enough attorneys know what a great place this is to live. We're not getting a lot of applications in right now, but I see that starting to change. There seem to be a lot of people that are interested in doing this type of work, and we're hoping we can attract them. The people that are applying from out of state right now either want to go to Boise or Coeur d'Alene, so and that's fine. But I want some good people here. But this is kind of where our county is working, our district and this county are working smoother than a lot of places. We're doing really, really well there. The state public defender has gone to, JFAC had their first hearing, and I think they're requesting 17 million more for next year. That will account for part of the problem we're having with contract attorneys is that paralegals aren't getting paid under this new system, and I'm hoping we can attract some more people if they adjust that.
As long as those funds don't come out of the county.
They are not coming out of the county coffer. Yeah, so we're finding a foothold everywhere. A lot of the other counties, the same attorneys are handling their cases now as were before. So there's not a lot of disruption. There is a lot of new things to learn. The state system is confusing. Everything goes through Luma, and so we're trying to do our jobs, learn these new systems, learn their new HR processes, and do everything all at one time. But Ashley's office is doing really, really well. They've still got good morale. They're doing really well. I wanted to check in with you and take your questions if you have any. I know that the IAC's looking into some of these issues, and that's important that the communication keeps going and we keep working on making the system better.
I visited with a couple of judges in the last week or two, and they says, there was a hiccup here and there a little bit, but overall they've been pleased. So
yeah,
if the courts are happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, you've had some people working very, very hard and a lot of hours, but we're making the transition, I think, well.
Good.
And I think everyone in this district is really doing a good job, and they're working hard. And we have more people pulling in the same direction. You know how some places you've got competing politics and people who have different agendas, but I think here, this is a special place. I told you that in my interview. This is special.
Uh-huh.
And the way we run our legal system here is special. It's kind of a secret. I think if more people knew about it, more people would want to be here. But we've got a lot of people pulling in the same direction, trying to make it better.
Two questions. I heard yesterday that the number you took to JFAC was more like 25 million. Is that 17?
Well, there's the 2.5 for CPA. That's going in anyway.
Okay.
There was a 16.7, which is what they actually asked for increase, and then there was a 226 to create 2 more institutional offices because all of the contract attorneys in Jerome and Gooding quit.
Okay.
So those are becoming institutional offices in the next fiscal year.
Okay. And then the second thing that you talked about a little bit yesterday was you mentioned IAC pushing on
transcripts.
Well, no,
Things
not necessarily
that's
transcripts, but
one of the things.
paying for the
Interpreters.
paying for your lodging.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Do you have any kind of a feel on from your side on where that's going, or any thoughts on that?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't, and I think to your question about 25, I know they're planning on asking for more.
Okay.
I think it'll probably be closer to 22 by the time they're all done. It'll be 22. The 2.5 million is not really a new request. It's just the CPA monies that they ask for every year. They got the same thing last year.
I think that 25, some of that 25 was to offset potentially the rent request that IAC was
It could
asking
be.
for. So, but
Yeah.
again, there wasn't a firm discussion on that. We just kind of kicked around as some things that were going on.
Yeah, and like MySpace they're paying for already. It's a process.
Okay.
So,
What do you mean? We're still paying rent.
not on my space.
Oh,
I have
your-
a
not-
separate
not the-
office.
yeah.
This one you still have.
Yeah.
Because I was new, I got a separate office and they're
Yeah.
paying for that one now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, okay. I'm still thinking
I
your
know.
office.
You wish, I know, I know.
We're just so used to be that
Yeah.
newer office.
I know, me too. I drive by it sometimes and think to stop.
John?
No, appreciate you, Dave.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
If you have any questions ever, let me know.
No doubt about that.
Okay.
Thank you. Dan?
Good to see you upright.
Good to be upright.
Dan Kendall, Facilities Director, just here for my monthly update. As far as the maintenance side of things, we had a flare up over at the annex with the sewer line again. But coming up with another plan, we had a company came in and put a camera down it and said we needed to put that liner in the pipe. We had another company come in and say, no, it's gonna be fine, and now we have another company saying, yeah, you need a liner in there. But some of that pipe we're gonna try to bypass. There's some underground piping that I think we can do it like within the building and do away with a big section of it. So got a plumber working on putting a bid package together on that and hopefully come up with a good plan. Got the boiler started up, as far as, winter preparations. We got it fired up and then we had to drain it and refire it up. Just gets a lot of sediment in it, in the whole system, and couldn't get the numbers down as far as testing the water. So we just drained it and started over, and it seems to be working better now. But the usual, everything's stuck, everything plugged up, that kind of thing. But it's going okay until we can shut her down in the springtime and get the new system installed. On Veterans Day, we got the new panel fired up in the IT room. So we will have oodles of power for years to come and don't have to deal with that situation, blowing breakers anymore. So that was a good thing to get done while no one was here. Like I say, winter preparations, it's, ice melt is here. We had a pallet load delivered yesterday, and the four-wheelers and the shovels and the blowers and everything's ready to roll. So I guess we're prepared as much as we can and looking forward to that. We were at the jail the other day. We striped their south parking lot. The repairs over there were done, so we restriped it, and we're waiting on the main parking lot. As soon as they're done, we'll get in there and stripe that as well. But it's not quite ready, so we'll be on standby. When we do that, then I'll spray our little lot for your parking spots. We'll take care of that on the same day. And then Ashley's been doing some painting down in the tunnel. You guys probably don't go down there much, but she's been down there working hard, getting that cleaned up. As far as projects go, we've been super swamped, but everything seems like it's going pretty good. At the annex, the HVAC work is underway up in the attic space, so it's been nice to get that started, and the restroom stalls are supposed to be here next week, so we can finish that little bathroom, finish that up. The courtroom, 320, IT finished up this past week. The cameras will be here next week, and the woodwork is all here. We just got to finish putting it up, but it's going well. And so I'm preparing to start on the chambers project. So we're starting to order stuff. We're going to bring that AV lady back in, so you make sure you guys have what you want and get it coming. That's my main concern, is everything is included and on its way, so we don't have any delays with that. And the exhibit building, got the permit application turned in this week. I'm gonna head down there at noon and get the building marked out for the builder. Everything seems like it's going good. It's with all the numbers came in where we thought they would, and so eager to get them started. They said December 9th was when they're going to start digging footings. So encouraging on that end. YDC, I'm just getting lots of phone calls right now, just making sure everything's ready to go. A lot of these projects are just mostly phone calls, lots of phone calls and questions, and trying to make sure we don't slow anybody down on anything, including 6th Street. Lots of phone calls and lots of trips out there and walkthroughs with CM, and thanks to you guys and answering questions as fast as you guys do. So, but I think everything's going pretty good, and we're just super busy, but it's been fun.
Wonderful.
Okay, if you have any questions,
The exhibit hall, and I've talked to a few people and talked to Shandy even this morning, but I think that we need to put that out and have naming rights.
yeah, yeah.
And see if somebody's willing to pay some dollars,
Have a what?
have naming right, to put their name on that building.
Oh, naming rights, okay.
Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
if we can generate any funds and advertise during the fair and everything else for it, that we ought to see if we can generate some funds for that facility.
Yeah, we've got some big, tall, empty walls in there that would look good with some sponsor names on it.
So,
We've got 20-foot ceilings in there, so I think we get creative with some sponsorship, and I think it'd be great.
and then we did receive the sheep barn, but we haven't started putting it together.
Nope, the installers gotten their fender bender on the way, and they weren't here yesterday. So I saw in the picture of the vehicle damage, the rest of the building is on that trailer, the garage doors and that kind of thing, the siding. But the framing is in Downey, and
So at least the walls will be straight?
Now, the naming of that building may be interesting. The building from hell, or I don't know, something of that nature.
it has lots of nicknames for sure. Can't wait to get her done.
Questions?
I
Okay.
just wanted to tell you thanks for your help with Operation Greenlight. That was a huge success, and I saw green lights popping up throughout the town. And
Yeah.
so, again, thank you for taking a few minutes to help
Yeah.
set that off and make it look good. It worked
Yeah.
well.
I can't wait for next year.
Neither can we. We have good plans for you.
Yeah, bigger, better, and we're gonna have the best for sure.
Very well. But thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, Emma, you're up.
I'm going to sit over here so I can flip through presentation that I made. My name's Emma Iannacone, the Public Information Officer. Good morning. I'm here to just help with a quick recap of our 2024 Household Hazardous Waste Days. So I am joined by our landfill reps.
Dylan Evans, landfill manager.
Aubrey Lewis, assistant or management assistant.
Yeah, so it was a pretty successful hazardous waste season. I'll kind of jump into this presentation. You have some numbers in front of you as well that we'll outline here. Aubrey and Dylan, do you kind of want to go through our participation numbers here?
Yeah, huge participation. It's a big benefit to the community. I kind of just made a few notes. This year, compared to last year, we had 53 more customers. We also had the biggest month that we've had since I've been there was in October. It was a very busy day. I don't think there was any sit down time in between customers. It was very busy. Let's see here. So again, their increase there. We had a big increase of customers. Oh, awesome. Who found out from the internet. I found a lot of people sharing the event with their Facebook. A lot of customers, they were repeat customers, but they said, oh, the Facebook one was a good reminder. So I think that was a really good direction for us to go in rather than the advertising we've been doing previously.
Here's a quick chart showing month by month the participation rate. So you can see, like Aubrey was saying, October was the highest month with 231 participants, and then the second highest was July. And yeah, that total, about 1,300 people participating. And like she said, most of the people who participate in hazardous waste days have done it in previous years, so they're aware of it already. But the largest referral method beyond the previous participants is internet, and we don't break it out by like Facebook or YouTube or what kind of internet they're talking about. We just say internet, right? So kind of a big bucket there. So moving on to the marketing, originally at the beginning of the year, like she said, we had planned to kind of go our typical route in which we spend the majority of our money on radio ads, and then spending about $1,000 on TV ads, so the restaurant TVs that flip through ads, and then a small chunk on Facebook ads. But we had a discussion with the board in April and decided that we wanted to try something different this year. So we dropped the radio ads and the affinity and decided to focus entirely on digital ads on Facebook and YouTube. And in total, we spent about $1,300 on this year's marketing. And a majority of that budget was directed to our YouTube ads, about $600. We decided to funnel to there, and then $390 on Facebook. The radio ads, Infinity ads, those chunks there were just for that April day because we had already got the process going for those. So that was just a one-time, and they were a little bit, the Affinity ads were more expensive because she dropped the discount she was giving us for the full season. So that's why that was a bit more than
So,
we would
can
typically
we go
spend.
back to that page real quick? All of those Facebook ads and the YouTube ads, those were more of a static ad than a video type ad, correct?
The YouTube is a video ad.
Oh, it is a video ad?
Yeah, it's got my voice on it and everything.
Okay, I thought I remember saw it, but I thought the picture was
Yeah,
static, but
yeah,
your
it's just-
text was.
Yeah. I had hoped to get some video footage of hazardous waste days this year, and I don't remember if we. I think that fell off of my radar. So if we continue with the YouTube ad next year, it'll probably be the same, maybe a few tweaks. But here's a kind of breakout month by month on the Facebook marketing. Those totals in the second or third column are the total number of participants, and then to the left is the number of participants that reported they heard about it from the internet, so you can kind of compare where we're at. We reached about 40,000 people on Facebook, and about 1,300 of them actually engaged with the content, so that means they either liked it, clicked on the link, shared it, commented on it, something like that. And our average cost per response or link click was 82 cents. So I'd say we, less than $1 spent per each person that engaged with the advertisement.
How did you feel about the engagement rate, the clicks?
I was satisfied with them. Those in May and June, I advertised it as a event, and then the other months I advertised it as just like a picture with a link. And so that's why those 2 months have a higher cost per response. So that was interesting to just kind of test that out, whether it was an event or just a post that we were boosting. I don't really know. I don't see a huge pattern other than we see more participants reporting the internet the later the season goes.
Yeah, I still think that engagement's pretty good for hazardous waste days, people to click on that and like it and share. Do you have shares?
I do. I just didn't include it in this report, so, but I can find it. This is our YouTube marketing snapshot. Same thing with those totals and the participants reporting internet. Impressions refers to how many viewers are exposed to the ad, whether it's the in-feed thumbnail, which would just be a static image, or the initial in-stream portion of your video. Or so that's like when you get to skip an ad before you watch what you actually were searching for, or the playback of your shorts ads. And that's, I think, like if you're watching a really long YouTube video, sometimes you get interrupted with quick short ads. I believe that's what that is. And our average view rate was almost 26%, which I was shocked by because I did not think that people would, engage with an ad about hazardous waste as much as these numbers show.
Did you have that just geo-targeted to Bannock County or any specific areas within the county?
Bannock County as a whole. On Facebook, you mark it like it's like a radius of a town. So
Right.
I target specifically each town with a 15, 25 mile radius. But with YouTube, it geo-targets the county within its borders. So.
Were you able to dial in and see what your engagement was in like the smaller
Yes,
sections.
yeah, which was pretty cool to see. Obviously, Pocatello and Chubbuck dominate because of the population, but we did have quite a bit of engagement in our South County towns on our YouTube ads, which was really cool. Yeah. Our findings from marketing, these are just some interesting things that I saw as I was looking through the results. The Facebook ads primarily reached women aged 35 and up. Don't know why. I think women may be more engaged on Facebook, and then so somehow we reached them. And then YouTube ads, we primarily reached men aged 18 through 34, which makes sense to me because YouTube is used as like a TV streaming service through more young millennial type folks, and I think it is a preferred social media for men as well.
So your clientele that showed up, what age group were they as you watched through that?
Mostly older. Yeah. Not very many young people unless they were saying, oh, I'm bringing it for mom or I'm bringing it for grandma or something like that. But I would say later 30s and up.
Are you doing Facebook and Instagram, or is that just strictly Facebook?
I believe they have the Instagram feeds. Since it's Meta,
Right.
it will pop up in both platforms.
Okay.
And majority of the time, the Facebook ads are popping up in your mobile app feed. So as you're scrolling on your phone, you're seeing the ad there. On YouTube, they're showing up on TV screens. So as people are streaming their shows on YouTube, that's when they're seeing the YouTube ads. And so maybe that's part of why we had such a strong engagement rate or view rate, and people didn't pick up their remote to click it. You know, maybe they saw that it was a local ad and were like, oh, what's this about? So, and then October, our reach was higher on Facebook than any other month, and that could be due to a language change on that ad. I said it was last chance for 2024, and that might have encouraged people to actually like, oh, what last chance for what? And then stayed on the ad a little bit longer. YouTube, this was my first time working with YouTube ads, and so it was a challenge to understand. It's definitely different than how Facebook does their ads. So it was more time consuming for me to figure out how to set those campaigns and understand how the budget was working for a minute there. I was really worried that we were spending a bunch of money and we weren't getting any views, but it was because I wasn't using the platform right to see the analytics. So that's been a challenge. I'm curious how next year will go with a little bit more understanding and familiarity for me. And then Meta ads and Facebook ads are super user friendly and easy to set a campaign. And then waste collected. I'll turn it back over to you guys.
Obviously, this shows a lot of the waste that we get. The biggest thing that we get is used oil, and so you can see it was a huge one. Lots of people bring it up, well, I'm just cleaning out my garage or whatever. We also get lots and lots of paint. People say they inherited paint when they bought their house or cleaning out somebody's house. So we've received a lot of that. It was really neat to see people really actually bring it up, like especially if they had questions on it. We could help direct them where it goes, help keep it out of the landfill, have a safe spot for it to be contained. So
Do you get any from Western states?
we did not.
Next.
Next subject there. Yeah, I mean.
So as she said, the used oil is the majority of the waste collected, since they collect them in the 275 gallon jugs, right? Mm-hmm. So that would equal out to over 800,000 gallons of used oil, which is just amazing to me that we kept that out of the landfill. Wow. Really amazing. And that was 325 gallons more than last year. Antifreeze was the second most highest collected with over 100,000 gallons collected, 65 more gallons than last year. So that continues to go up. Flammable liquids also increased and by 175 gallons. That was another significant increase. Fluorescent light bulbs, pesticides were similar to 2023. And then our paint was actually almost 300 gallons less than 2023. But it was the largest collection was in September and the smallest was in April, which kind of makes sense. The beginning of the year, it's not on everyone's radar as they're coming into spring and summer.
So once we collect them, what happens?
So we categorize the waste depending on what it is. Once we receive it, we'll separate it out into its individual storage units. Then we label and store on containment units. And then we have Clean Harbors come out, or Thermal Fluids. Thermal Fluids does our oil and our antifreeze, and Clean Harbors comes out and does our other categorized hazardous waste. So we'll do 55-gallon drums, or like Emma mentioned, we'll do the 275-gallon totes for the storage of the oil. We've got 4 of those, and then 1 for antifreeze, and they come typically pretty quickly when we call.
Yeah. Oil and antifreeze, we collect it monthly typically because we receive so much of it. The others, we kind of wait till we have a large amount to get rid of.
And then the pesticides and herbicides, we actually participate with the state of Idaho, that they take those from us for free. We typically go to American Falls. They have a collection that also runs through Clean Harbors, but they do it as a free, kind of a buyback program. It works really well for us.
Do other counties do this pre-hazard days?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we can take all our stuff to another,
Yeah, should be great.
saving money.
Yeah.
Saving money.
We could all load up on a Saturday and take a truckload to them and see what they'd say. Just hide our Bannock County logos.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, any other questions?
Love it. Good job.
John? No, I think it's a good project, a good process. Who's your employees, or who's doing it now?
So typically, Aubrey runs the program from start to finish on the Saturdays. She does the greeting and kind of helps keep people organized. And then I usually station one of our senior operators down there. We utilize the women's corrections to do the main collection and sorting, and they run underneath our guidance. And it so far has been pretty wonderful. I'm glad that COVID didn't totally destroy that program, because it is a huge benefit to us.
The first year that I was doing it, we didn't have the correctional facility, so we had to just kind of work with our team, which we were pretty shorthanded at that point. Now that we are able to use them, I think that we have a really good flow going on.
Typically get the same ones back. They really enjoy doing it. I don't think that they get a lot of contact outside of their deal, so they're pretty excited to jump in. And
So explain the process a little bit, just so that if somebody's watching and so they know how to come and go through the flow, how to drop it off, how much time it takes for them to come and do it.
We try to keep it pretty quick. We run through pretty fast. What they do is they essentially just line up. I greet them, ask them how they heard about it.
They don't go to the scale.
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
They come straight to our shed that we do it.
we have signs set up that directs towards the hazardous waste collection.
Well,
So-
just some of our free days, people get on that scale and they're
Yes.
way down the block. So I just want people to know that, no, you don't go to the scale. You come and you go through a different.
It's really nice with the people that have participated before, because they kind of start the line for everybody else to follow. So that works out really nice. But after I've basically greeted them, I make sure they wait, so there's not multiple cars going in at the same time. They go in and they go to our senior operator, who kind of determines what they have and directs the gals where they're going to put it. So the gals unload their cars as fast as we can. We put them on carts. We have some that are stationed to run paint, some that are stationed to run oil, antifreeze, and we just separate it out as we go, and then just keep pushing everybody through.
Yeah, I think that's a big addition to that is, let's get them unpacked, and then we can take the time when there's not customers to actually process the materials to go get what they're going. So for the customers themselves, it should be a pretty expedited, and as long as there's not a long line, they're probably only 3 to 5 minutes by the time they reach the landfill before they're on their way back out again.
Yeah, I was going to say, I went up early and went through, and your process is very smooth. Everybody was super friendly, laid out well, and I think I was there less than 5 minutes to dump and go.
If anybody's there for an extended period of time, it's because they were waiting in line at the beginning. If
And-
they come right at the opening, they wait, but if
Yeah.
it's throughout the day, we get them out.
Or if they have questions, a lot of people don't really understand this or that, so they want to sit and ask you, well, what do I do with, vegetable oil? What do I do with this? What do I do with that? So it's kind of a good educational experience for them as well.
I was gonna ask, how are the magnets? Are we getting low on those yet?
We are almost phased out of those. They're very old ones, but a lot of people say that too, like, I've got that magnet on my fridge that reminds me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited to run out of those so that we can redesign it, get some new ones that we can hand out at those the outreach events that the landfill does, and then pass them around to the new folks as they come through the.
I participate in a water week in the spring with the city of Pocatello, and we give out magnets and things to the kids. And I've had some parents too, like, yeah, my kid brought home a magnet and told me we got to come up there with our batteries. So that outreach helps too.
Yeah.
Good. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
job.
Appreciate it.
And stay right there, you're next.
Yep. Okay, so I have a couple of, I guess, questions to see what direction you guys want to go. Our D7 lost a cam guide and some push tubes in cylinder number 3, and it took out the motor. So, and it's about time. It's got a little over 12,000 hours on it. It was purchased used like 10 years ago. So it's been a pretty good machine for us. Just kind of rough numbers. I don't know exactly what it would come out to be. When I was talking to Bo, it was going to be somewhere between $70,000 and $80,000 to just replace the motor. But it is still an old machine. So we had the discussion of doing a certified rebuild, and this is kitchen sink. It's so new that it comes with a new serial number, new hour meter. They have their own warranties. So we would qualify for governmental warranty to be put back on this machine. There's some options that we'll go through. I just wanted to make sure what direction we wanted to go before we kind of optimize the contract that's before you guys. There's some stuff that I think that we could probably do without on this contract, like the fire suppression system. That'd be a $26,000 savings on top, on that $383,000. So, like I said, I think that there's some optimization in this, so the cost would go down off of the certified rebuild, and we would have some good options that way. A brand new one, just not leased, purchase with the governmental discount of 23%, we would be looking at $887,000 for a brand new dozer. So this is quite a bit better deal money-wise. And in my opinion, it's actually a better machine because it's a tier 2 motor. So it's got a lot less sensors, it's got a lot less of the DEF issues and things that we run into with the newer machines. So that's kind of where we're at. In my mind, you're looking at kind of 3 options. You're looking at $70,000 to $80,000 for just a motor, knowing that you're going to put more money into it to continue to fix it. Do the certified rebuild, which I think is the best option, or you could look at doing a new one. This is just kind of a high level number that I got from them the other day, but it's a lot. And especially if you look at it lease wise, you'd be over $500,000 for 5 years for the lease payment versus, $360 for the rebuild. And this machine is different. I spoke with Commissioner Huff about this a few weeks ago. This is not our cell 4 hours all day long, everyday machine. This is the machine that we use at our cell 3 site, and it's also the one that Road and Bridge uses when they are mining. They use it to scout pits and push material to the loaders. So that's kind of our run-around share machine. So this one, like I said, 10 years ago it was used. I don't know how many hours it had on it when it was then, but I mean, if you're looking at a certified rebuild with a brand new machine, then you're looking at probably 15 years of service for us. So it seems like a pretty good option.
So you've had it for 10 years and have only put 12,000 hours on it?
And I don't know how many hours were on it when it was purchased.
Right, but you've only put 12,000 on it?
It's got a little over 12,000 now, so I don't.
So that 12,000 is total for the
Total,
life of the machine?
yeah.
Okay.
So, money-wise, what are we talking, what have we budgeted?
We did not budget because this was unanticipated. However, when this happened, Dylan gave me a call and we started looking at some of the bigger projects that we have going on, the remediation, the scale house, to see if maybe we could pull back a little bit of money out of there, push that into 26 so that we could find enough savings to make this expenditure. And I think you feel fairly comfortable that we could do that.
Yeah, I think we can, especially if we're able to kind of get some from a few different lines. I think that we could be in okay shape that way. Another thing that we're looking at is trying to see, there's a grant out for recycling services, which would be cans, Z-walls, sites, sorting equipment, yada, yada. So if that goes into our scale house project, there could be a pretty significant savings of what we had budgeted for the scale house project. I spoke with Stephanie this morning about it. We're still a little bit far out. They're putting engineering together, but think that there's a good option there that we maybe qualify for.
So you say you don't use this machine all the time. What kind of a bind are you in with this not running?
It was pretty tough with the tear down in Downey. We had one machine and we kind of just eked by for a little while, and luckily we were able to get that machine back, but we just kind of get it where it needs to go, understanding that every day that we do that puts us behind. So we've been able to kind of catch back up, but without that machine and with no spare anywhere, it's impossible to replace a dozer.
Okay. Buddy, come up for a minute if you would, please.
Real quick, while Buddy's coming up, to get context of, I mean, this is $360,000, so it sounds like a ton of money, which it is, but for landfill, it's really not. We've got $1.8 million budgeted for remediation. That's where some of the savings could come, and we've got $4 million budgeted for the scale house. So when we're looking at those numbers in comparison to the 360, that's why we think it's absorbable. Now, if this was a different department, no, this wouldn't be. But because it is the landfill and we have those big ticket items in here, that's why it makes it a little bit more.
The other question I have while we're talking about that real quick is, how's the landfill revenue been the last couple of years? Is it increasing every year?
Yeah, based off of total tonnage, absolutely. And then with the fee change that we went through this year, I'd be curious to see what it looked like, full circle once we're through this fiscal.
And again, without counting on that, because we don't anticipate that, but I would assume there should be a substantial enough revenue that we could also offset some of it with that.
Well, other than if I took revenue up, then that won't.
But that's not your nature, so.
No, but I might have this year.
What?
I know, you count me not to be conservative. But that is definitely an issue, because usually we do beat revenue, because we gain more than we budget.
Yeah, well, and I'm fairly comfortable if we take a little bit off of the remediation stuff, because I think the remediation is going very well, and I think we have some room there to wiggle, that push comes to shove, we may have revenue that we might not have to, but I think we've got a couple alternative sources to do this, that I'm comfortable with it.
And the reason I had Buddy come up is, I mean, you guys utilize this too. If you got projects and stuff that you figure, I mean, if we're shorthanded, how's that affect your department too?
Yeah, typically we don't use the dozer a lot, just kind of on our, our crushing operations like he was saying, and here and there. But yeah, absolutely, we do utilize the machine. And just for what it's worth, I'm a big advocate for the wheel too, just because I've been down to CAT and seen the process, and it's crazy. I mean, they take it down to the frame and paint it. I mean, everything on it's brand new.
They got every washer, bolt, nut,
Yeah,
and everything else.
Yeah.
On something called environmental fees that I don't know what are.
And like Dylan says, with all of our new equipment, even our 10-wheelers, we're constantly fighting DEF systems and all that new regulated stuff. So if we could build something and get
Yeah.
away with that, I think that's money well spent. But
No.
So, come back to us. I mean, I think we need to move forward, but we need to know
Yeah.
where the money's coming from specifically, so that we make sure that we're all on the same boat on that one, and we need to know the exact cost.
Yeah, and I think we can sharpen our pencils on that and get that knocked down some too, so.
Yeah, so just to be clear, we are all in agreement that moving forward with the rebuild is probably the appropriate way to go.
Yes, for me.
Christie, what did we spend in remediation last year?
I don't have any of that with me. I could get that.
We usually budget about $2 million, don't we, for remediation?
Last year we had budgeted $2 million. I don't know that we spent that.
No, we backed it off a little bit last year for a similar type thing, if I remember right.
But I do not believe they spent the full budget last year.
It was
I think you guys left some money on the
1.7.
table.
That's the 1.7
So-
stick. I was thinking 1.5, so yeah, 1.5, 1.7.
1.7, somewhere in there.
But what we can do is when Dylan gets final numbers on what this is gonna cost, I can come back with revenue, and I can also come back with what we've spent and what we've received in revenue over the last couple of years to give you a little bit more comfortable feeling.
I thought remediation was quite a bit lower than 2 million.
We did not spend the 2 million, which is part of the reason we took it down to $1.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what we put in the budget, was 1.8?
For this year.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can come back with those numbers. Dylan did have an option that we could finance half and pay it this year and pay the other half in '26. So we can also come back with that as an option if we think the revenues aren't going to be where we might need them to be for some potential extra, or if we think we won't be able to pull enough savings from some of these lines. He did a lot of fast work trying to get numbers from Great West, but there was no time to get that. So we can bring all of that final stuff to you so that you can have a more comfortable decision.
Yeah, but I mean, we got our experts here and they're saying rebuild, and I have no problem with that.
There you go.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All right. So this is asking for a signature, but you'll come back with another.
Not a signature on this one. This was just more get you guys mind wrapped around the numbers, so.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Christie.
Krista Crosser, Comptroller, this was supposed to be signature only. If you want a presentation on it, Karen's here, she can come up and speak to it. I had requested signature only just simply because it's the EMAC reimbursement for her deployment to North Carolina. We had talked a little in depth on Emma's, so I didn't know. I wasn't anticipating a lot of conversation on this. It was just, we need the signature so that we can submit it and start the reimbursement process. So if you want to bring Karen up, she can talk to it, or we can just move on.
Yeah, this is just like the one we did last week with Emma.
It was.
Any questions?
No, again, thank you for going and serving.
John?
I'm good.
We're good? A motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the reimbursement request as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Are you going to the LEPC meeting at 10? Okay.
Shanda?
All right. Oh, it's at 10:30? Oh, cool. Thank you. I was stressing that. Thank you.
You're up.
Shanda Crystal, Chief Procurement Officer. I have a couple items before the board today. The first one on your list is a potential signature on a contract with Headwaters Construction Company. This is for the Youth Development Center and the Event Center building up at the Event Center. There's a couple things on here. The Headwaters had a few suggested changes on us, and they've been through legal. We've reviewed, and they are amenable to Bannock County. And Commissioner Moser has the updated version in his packet today. There were minor adjustments that legal has approved. So that was a little of the back and forth that we had. And then, so we did go with the full bid amount, $2,346,483. We did meet with them last week and talks about different ways that we might be able to save some money. We talked about potential lighting changes or roof material changes. We don't have all that information back in to put before the board today. Those options is, if they become viable, we'll come back before the board in change orders to either to reduce the amount of the contract. But we felt that at this time that we should move forward with December leering at us, that we should move forward with signing the contract. And then as we get more information, that those change orders can come in before the board at another time.
Questions?
Nope. Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the contract with Headwaters Construction Company as discussed.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 The second item I have before the board is a procurement update. I want to start with one that hasn't quite made it on the list yet, and that is a request by the ambulance department for a new ambulance. We're looking at reviewing a piggyback option for a Sourcewell document. That just happened after I had to submit this one, so we're looking to review that, but that should be they should bring that before the board next week is our hopes for that one, but it is in progress. If we drop down a couple lines to the detention center diesel generator, that one, as we are ever learning about new projects that we start, we have never done this large of a generator before, but as we are learning for contractors and suppliers out there, that maybe it might benefit Bannock County to move. Right now we have it scheduled that we are looking for a supplier that would be able to subcontract the masonry or the electrical or other items that might need to happen for the project. That's how we scheduled it and put it out there. What we're finding is that a lot of the suppliers don't do that. We usually do it in reverse. We usually have a general contractor that then finds the generator for us and then the other subcontracting materials as needed. So Levi and I had a conversation yesterday. We're going to touch base again today, but we might make a little bit of switch on that. Right now we have the first mandatory meeting next week, but again, depending on what we decide, we might give contractors a little longer if we go in a different direction just a little bit. We'll still move forward with the project. We just might frame it a little differently as we move forward, but looking for the best that Bannock County can do on that one. On the next two, for the fairgrounds, the plumbing and the HVAC at the exhibit hall were awarded earlier, and those contracts have been sent out for review, and I'm hoping to have those back in. Having the holiday next week will cause a little bit of a delay, but hoping really to have most of those contracts back before the board on the 6th, I think is our next meeting, due to training and stuff. So that is my goal, is to have them back by December 6th. That would also include, if you drop down a few to the exhibit hall electrical, that contract has been sent as well. And then again, my hopes on December 6th on that guy. And the final update I have for you is the tactical training remodel. That has been awarded, the contract's been signed, and a kickoff meeting has been scheduled for Monday with the team. And again, that first kind of operations in there is going to be a discussion of if there's anything in there that potentially we might be able to adjust to save a little time, money, anything like that, as the experts get together and have a discussion. Now that we'll have our engineer and then the sheriff's team and our contractor now all at the same table. So that is our goal on that one. Is there any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. You ladies have done amazing on all this ARPA stuff, and we're getting down to the deadline. I still feel comfortable. So, a little tense once in a while, but I still feel comfortable.
I felt a little ragged at the beginning of the week and went into Christy's office, and she was kind enough to bolster me back up, and nope, we can do this. So we're off and running and have more contracts out the door. And so I am a little more with you today, Ernie, that I'm confident that we can do what we need to do. So.
And I haven't done an ARPA update for a while, just simply because until we get these contracts in, there's really not a lot of new information. So we're trying to just kind of work through it on the backside, and then maybe on the 6th, I can do another ARPA update.
I'm just looking forward to them colors changing on your chart. Moving them down.
Good news though on those, the wet cell, Teresa emailed me yesterday, the wet cells are done.
Oh, sweet.
So she's just waiting on invoices for those. So that one will move down by the time I update you.
Good. Good. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. All right. Next, signature on memo for gifts paid time off for Bannock County employees for the holidays. You had the opportunity to read this? Mm-hmm. Look at it. Any questions? And it does state on here that the 4 hours are in one 4-hour block. You don't get to separate them all out.
And supervisors are to track it, not payroll.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. Any questions, comments?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the 4-hour gift of paid time off.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next we have for signature, quick claim deeds for sale for a couple of properties that did not go in the auction, but we had offers afterwards. Any questions?
Nope, Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the quick claim deeds as presented.
We have a motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I will, before Christy releases those, I'll make sure that we've received the money. Because
Okay.
I believe one check we've not received in the mail yet.
Okay. All right. We need to Seth, come up, and then we have an executive session.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we enter into executive session under Idaho Code 74-2061A. Discuss personnel.